I'm gonna dance by myself like nobody's watching. Don't really care if my rhythm's off, 'cause I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna dance by myself like nobody's watching. Don't really care if my rhythm's off, 'cause I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna dance, 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 dance. I'm gonna dance, 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 dance. I'm gonna dance, dance, dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna I've been trying to cope since you ran away. I've been feeling lost, I've been feeling pain. And no matter what I do, I just feel like I do what I do for you. I tried to call the doctor, it didn't help. Took a trip out to the sun to revive myself. But no matter what I do, I just feel like I do what I do for you. I'm gonna dance, 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 dance. I'm gonna dance, 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 dance. I'm gonna dance, dance, dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna dance by myself like nobody's watching. Don't really care if my rhythm's off, 'cause I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna dance by myself like nobody's watching. Don't really care if my rhythm's off, 'cause I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna dance, 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 dance. 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 I'm gonna dance, 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 dance.
Something's in the air. I can feel it everywhere. Every color seems to bloom, and there's light in every room. Now that you're looking up, I can see it in your eyes that lately it's been tough. But now the sun is rising, and where do people Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. I'm aiming for the sky. Everyone got stories, so let's start listening. Let the rain wash away the tears that keeps crippling. Now that you're looking up, I can see it in your eyes that lately it's been tough. But now the sun is rising, and we're new people. Let's be new people. There's summer. Don't let me down, down, down. Don't let me down, down, down. I wanna be up, 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 so high. 'Cause I've been down, down, down. I've been down, so down, and I'm done. I'm aiming for the sky. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Aiming for the sky. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. I'm aiming for the sky. Now that you're looking up, I can see it in your eyes that lately it's been tough. But now the sun is rising, and we're new people.
I'm in sync with the earth. 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides, like even when I die, I'ma ride for the squad, let her ties in the hearse. I've been on a vibe, kinda hard to describe. I'm in between, I'm good and it's fine, but I'm tired of the grind. Then I come alive in the night to realize I'm in the middle of the time of my life. I never so packed for the stack, never lied on the rap. Got a bag from the way that I write it. Queen looking Tyson, through that I survived, doing 80 to the house. Then I hit her to the sky, changed haters on a tirade. Talking to their crib in the face, be still, let that hate stuff fade. We all want the same, we all want a meal in the safe. I wanna live like I'm trying to reach enlightenment. Trail spill from my lips, feel bent from the bib. Take a sip till I pass out. Try and get grit, but it don't make sense. Cause you can lose life on this fast route. Yeah, turn thoughts to a cash cow. I might flip that to the glass house. I don't need the accolades, I'm in love with the chase. I just wanna eat, save a spot at the table. Beast with the slap, pin myself on the map. You long with the wind, but we knowing that it's capped. 5-hour flights, couple nights at the flat. To be real, couldn't see me making moves while I'm at. I'm still on the grind, limit time when I chat. I'm burning down sage, keep the demons away. When I write it, give a piece of myself to the page. I don't do it for the praise, love, that's just how I'm made.
Truth in the glass in the mirror.
Yeah.
Throw it at me, old man, tryna pass in the fear. You're the first one to talk, but the last one to hear. Eyes blurry, but I couldn't see that, and he cleared down. Start to feel like I'm on one. Settle in, I'll be here for the long run. I'm a slave for the cash, got snakes in the grass, no brakes on the ad, but it's all fun. We done seen it all, heard it all. Heard enough, give me space before I murder y'all. 10 bad here, I'ma curve them all. 12 missed calls, and I still made a curtain call. Here to light it up, lighten up. Hear him talking, they ain't right enough, tighten up. Everything that I came for, I left with. I don't bang sets, I just bang on the set list. Going past supper when I came for the breakfast. Put me in your prayers, I might put you on the guest list. Young, tell me reckless. Gold in my soul, got the same on my necklace.
For the first time in years, got my feet across the border from a land of tears. Ain't no way I'm going back under. Got my eyes in the wild blue yonder. What lies beyond the horizon? Let's go find out. Feeling free, free to live my life, free to roll the dice, free to go left or right. I wanna feel free to go wherever I choose, free to stay or just cruise, free to sing, free to dance. Free to give into lust and romance. Free, that's what I wanna be. That's what I wanna be. Now things are moving along and I'm picking up speed. I'm singing my own songs and making ends meet. But good enough ain't good nor enough when going for gold.
What's going on? Hey, Laura, Cheryl, Crystal. What's going on, Christine? Jason Cunningham, what are you doing today? I see you, Manuel. Good to have you here, man. Appreciate it. Belle, Nancy Thomason. There we go, Nancy Thomason. What's up? Is that Morgan? Morgan? Just a unique way of spelling it. There you go, I got it. Hey, everybody, good to see you here for an Inner Circle. Excited to have you guys here. You know, I was thinking this morning, today we have an amazing guest. We have an amazing topic. And remember, these Inner Circles are for you guys to keep the momentum, to stay engaged, to have spaced repetition, to be a part of something that keeps you moving forward. I've been doing these for about 10 years, every single month. And I have to say, this has become a family. This has become a group. And just so you know, you guys are all members of Mastermind. Love having you as part of the family. We used to just do Inner Circles. We had Inner Circle for about 8 years. It was separate. About 7 years. It was separate from Mastermind. And just so you guys know how technology has allowed us to do more, we used to charge $100, $97 a month just for these, just for Inner Circles, $11.60 for the year, and we had tens of thousands of members forever, but then we decided, hey, let's make it a part of Mastermind. So we love merging everything under one roof that we can hopefully disturb you into action, to have you stay committed to your own dreams, to make it so when you go, I feel like quitting, but damn, Dean is just under my skin all the time. He's got these monthly live trainings. There's a new course coming out every month. We're adding new stuff to Gigi. Gigi's getting smarter every day. That's not an exaggeration. Every day, with the amount of people using it and the work we're putting, it's getting smarter, faster, quicker every day. We're adding multiple new pieces and trainings to Mastermind. So just know, behind the scenes, we are watching your progress. We are reading your comments, we're listening to you, and we truly want to make the place where you feel at home, where you feel connected, where you not only know you are enough, but you have enough, and you have the skills, and you have the right education, and you have the right guidance, and you have the right tools to pull this across the finish line. You know, one of the, and I'm going to digress, then I'll get to our amazing guest today and the talk about entrepreneurial stamina. And you know, as an entrepreneur, we have ups, we have downs, we have sideways. There's days we feel invincible. There's days we feel like an imposter. Wendy, right or wrong? Do we feel good? We feel high, we feel low. Some days I see a Sonia, no problem. I'm going to crush this. I feel amazing. 3 days later, it's like, why am I doing this? I should just stick with what I know. I'm too old, I'm too young. All those things. So what are these subtle little nuances, these adjustments that we can make to stay in the game? Because at the end of the day, the only way this doesn't work is if you don't work it. And I don't want one of you to give up on your dreams, give up on this goal, give up on your desire, to give up on your dreams. Hence why I love going live on Mondays. I did those quick little Monday lives. I thought I was going to do it once 7 years ago, and I've missed one day in 7 years live. I love it. Just to keep that momentum moving forward. These live trainings keep you moving forward. Maybe today we spark something that you go, no more game playing, or I'm going to another level. Who in here has ever thought about exercising more, or thought about maybe having one cocktail a week rather than a couple, or thought about eating better, right? And you think about it for a while. I see it, Kimberly. And then all of a sudden, have you ever gone to a doctor's appointment and then they come back and go, hey, your plaque and your cholesterol is adding up. Or maybe that's because I'm getting old and those things are happening, right? Like your cholesterol's adding up, or your liver has fat on it, or your blood sugar is almost to diabetic. When you hear that, in that moment, you shift. Has anybody ever made a moment when they were a little scared, they made a shift, right? And Tony Robbins says this best. He talks about change. People say, how long does it take to quit smoking or exercise more or eat better? People go, well, it took me years to quit. It's like, no. You thought about quitting for years, and in one moment, something disturbed you or motivated you enough, and you made the decision. I see Gabriel shaking your head, love the guitar in the background, man, right? In a moment, you made a decision in a second to change. True? And the reason, not only do we want to supply the tools to build your business, the AI to build your business, the education to build your business, a lot of times we come in here just to disturb you. So maybe today's the day you make that shift. There's no B plan. You burn the boats and you say, all right, I'm going to step this up, right? If it was exercise or eating better, you say, today's the day, 1 drink a week. Today's the day, XYZ. I always hope every month during Inner Circles, you go, today's the day. I'm going to ramp this up. I'm not going to dabble anymore. So that's why we plan these. We think about them all month. We hear your comments and we say, what were the majority of comments that come in? And then we try to design an inner circle that knocks your socks off. And today, I promise not to disappoint. Just remember all the things that you have inside Mastermind. So at any time, don't hesitate to schedule the time, get back in there, ask for help. If there's something we've done wrong or it's a little confusing, ask, because we want nothing more than for you to reach that level of success that you crave and you desire. So thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Love having you on the Inner Circle. This has been a fun journey of almost 10 years of doing this every single month. Today, our guest, you guys already know her. In so many cases, she's been a part of Mastermind for quite some time. Her name is Bari Baumgardner. I'll bring her out here in a minute. I just want to share, if you guys know her. Raise your hand if you know who Bari Baumgardner is, or you've seen her speak or present, right? I'll let her. We're going to talk about entrepreneurial stamina today to give you an unfair advantage to keep moving forward. But I just want to share a little bit about Bari before I bring her out. We have fun together. We've been working together for a decade. Now, there are some business relationships I have. I want you to hear this. There are some business relationships I have that I absolutely love, but I'm always the one helping the other person, right? You guys have relationships. You guys have anybody in your life where they always come to you for advice? Kathy, I see you raising your hand, and it's okay. Tell me you don't love helping the people, right, Kathy? You still love helping them, but you know it's kind of a one-way jam. And in this industry, because I've been doing it so long, even though Bari looks 20 years younger than me, I think we're really close in age. But because I've been doing this so long, most of the relationships, especially if I have business with somebody in their 20s or 30s, I'm always helping, and I love it. I love being that mentor. And then there's a handful of relationships, like I have with Mr. Tony Robbins, where we empower each other, where we're serving. I learned so much from that man, and I hope to give back as much as he gives. Bari is one of those humans in my life. As much as I can give, she gives back. We work on multiple projects together. We just got done working with a massive project together. We're communicating all the time. But she understands not only what it takes to be successful in business overall, in business in this industry, she knows how to go upstream and anchor in the philosophies to keep you moving forward. I love working with her. When Tony and I do an event and we want 1 million people to come up, Bari's one of the first people I call and say, hey, I'm doing another event, jump on. When I made a deal with Matthew McConaughey and I said, let's do the biggest live event the internet has ever seen, the first person I called was Bari Baumgardner. I said, hey, I'm going to do the biggest event in the world with McConaughey. You in? She's like, hell yes, I'll fly there tomorrow. Let's talk about it. So without further ado, could we give a warm Mastermind Inner Circle welcome to my friend Bari Baumgardner.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, everybody. Angela, I see you. Good to see you. Thank you for all the lovely comments in the chat. Thanks for having me today. I'm excited to be here.
I know you got nothing else going on, Bari. That's funny. I know your schedule, so thank you for fitting us in today.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it. Listen, it's one of those things. We're doing a little family vacation this week. And so I'm here at the beach house, not my normal studio. And it got me thinking about you guys and just the concept of time and money freedom. And, we were just talking about this recently on the She's Unstoppable stage, but the decisions I made, 6 years ago, really honestly for being, 20 years ago, are why I can sit here today and be with you and be on family vacation at the same time. It's pretty amazing, technology and the world we're in, that you can be in two places at one time and serving in two ways at the same time. But I always have time for you in this audience, because I think what we're going to be talking about today is so important for every single person here.
Yeah, and I want to, the first big question I'll ask is just, why is this topic so important? And it's obvious, I get. But I want to say why I love when you come and share with this audience is because you embody so much of our audience, right? You understand them. You understand what they worry about, what they fear, what they get, what their dreams are. And then, first is, you and I have been talking about it for a decade, is like, everybody here is on the journey of either getting their first sale, their next sale, or consistent sales, right? I got a message this morning from a gentleman who just bought from us recently, and he said he just passed 100,000 a month. He wrote, "I'm in tears." He had all these little buttons of, "I'm in tears. I've transformed my life. My family is safe. I don't care what happens with this election." It was a beautiful message that he shared this morning. And I'm not saying everybody wants to be there or needs to be there. And we have the person this morning that said, "I got my first sale. This is real," right? And we have, heck, I ran into a guy a year ago that I met that's got a almost $100 million a year company that bought our KBB product 6 years ago. We get the opportunity to speak to everybody across the spectrum, but a lot of times an audience like this, you might be in that first sale or next sale, or maybe you're on your way to consistent sales, and Bari really truly understands those emotions, the kind of the fears in between, the insecurities in between, the stamina you need in between, and heck, I'm excited to talk about this topic today. So why is it so important in your opinion? Listen, I just want to, let's make this really casual, Bari, as if you and I were at a coffee shop. Like, yeah. I'm going to ask you one question. If you go a half hour without needing a break, I'm not going to say a word. But there also might be something I interrupt you and go, whoa, wait a minute. I want to hear more of that. So I'm just going to sit right here. I got my pen, I got my journal, and we'll just have fun. Cool?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I say one thing about what you were just talking about? First of all, hats off to the gentleman who did 100K. And I saw some people saying, oh my gosh, imagine that 100K in a month. But for all of you here, whether you are just getting started, you have, not made your first sale yet, or you just made your first sale, or you're on the path to actually scaling your sales, it always just starts with decision. And, I salute you for being in this group and for being here today and committed to staying tapped into this community and being immersed in what's possible, because we never know, right? I mean, Dean was talking about how I represent you, and it's true. I mean, 20 years ago, I started this just until business out of an extra bedroom in my house. And I call it the just until business because some of you will be able to relate to this. Some of you came into this like really committed, like I am an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner, I'm going to build a business. I didn't do that. I came in with the just until business. Like I'm going to do this just until this other thing happens, which at that time was until my husband got back on his feet again. My first husband had gone through a really terrible time. Family business had imploded. When it imploded, he imploded and he wasn't working. And I'm like, I did all the bills in our house. I'm like looking at the math going, this is not sustainable. I'm going to have to do something. Oh, I think I could do this just until he gets back on his feet again. I had no idea when I started this business with literally just a big idea and a business card out of an extra bedroom in my house that it would grow to, hiring my first employee and then my second employee and then my 20th employee. Like you don't always see everything with perfect clarity. So for all of you here, and I've been watching your chats, it's like, I needed this today, or I needed to hear this today, or I needed to tap into this today. I just want you to know that you're in the right place. This is possible. And you don't have to have crystal clarity on what the next 20 years are going to look like. You just have to get started and trust in yourself. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Like, what does it take to survive the highs and lows that come up in a business like Dean did, like I did? We do happen to be the same age. And I think it's debatable who looks younger. And we also share a lot of common philosophies about how we run our business and how we approach business and life. But I just want you to know, like, just having that starting point of, I know I'm meant for more, that little instinct inside of you that you can do this, that it's possible, even if you don't know exactly how, you don't know the why, you are just getting started, you've had failures in the past, and now you're stepping into a bigger version of yourself, or you've been having considerable success and you're ready to up level to the next big thing. You're in the right place. And I just want to say, there's never been a better moment in time to be doing what you're trying to do. Like in the history of the world, there's never been a better moment in time to be starting a business or scaling a business, because really, honestly, all you need is a computer, a good light, a microphone, and Zoom, to have a business. Like that's never been a thing before. Like you used to have so much more money, so much more resources, so many more assets to get anything off the ground. And now this is all you need. I see Tina saying so true and Yvette saying so true. So I just wanted to anchor us in possibility and opportunity. And then I think today we're going to talk about, okay, then once you get past, I'm going to do this, what does it take to actually make it real?
I love it. I love it. So I'd say let's jump right in. What are some of the things people need to have entrepreneurial stamina?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, I think the thing I was thinking about this morning when I was, just kind of getting my head in the zone for this call is that, um, you probably have to have commitment over everything else, right? Like one of our mantras is commitment over convenience. And, you can't have a convenient business. I don't have a convenient business. You don't have a convenient business. I don't think people who stay in business for the long haul have a convenient business, meaning it takes more than that. It takes a commitment. And in our business, we have a mantra at Sage, at our company, commitment over convenience, like every day. And sometimes every hour, sometimes you have to re-choose on the hour, depending on what's going on in your life, is recommitting to what you know is possible for yourself and for the people that you're meant to serve. And businesses test us. It's not easy, not easy to run a business, but it's worth it because again, there's never been a better moment in time to do it. There's never been more opportunity to change your circumstances for yourself and your family. So when I kind of think of what does it take to do it, it does certainly take stamina, it takes grit, it takes hustle, it takes determination. And I often think it takes a big why. Like we talk a lot, you and I, about our big why, what is our North Star, the thing that is really driving us. And macro clear, micro easy. If you have a big vision of what you're trying to do in your life, in your business, for your family, for your team, for your right fit clients, the people that you're meant to serve, it's so much easier when you're tested in the little moments to stay committed because you're super clear on where you're headed and why you're doing it. Like, having a goal isn't enough. Having a why is ultimately what drives you during the hard moments.
I'm going to jump in. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep my mouth shut because I love listening to you. But some things I would just love to know from the group. We got a bunch of people on YouTube. We have thousands of people on Zoom. Is when it comes to commitment, and I want to hear everything Bari has to say about commitment because I love learning. I ever want to hijack because you guys might know my analogy on commitment. So I want to hear Bari's thought process. But if I was going to say, would you be committed more? Okay, if we fast forward a year from now, and this is for everybody, you can help me in the chat. I just want to understand this. If it was a year from now, would you be more excited about where you could be in a year from now? Meaning in a year from now, I could be doing whatever, 10,000 a month, and I could be impacting lives, and I could change lives, and I get rid of this career that this is just unfulfilling or it's draining me. Would you be more excited about what could be in a year or 5 years from now? Or is it more of a driving force to say in a year from now, if my life was exactly the same, the pain would be too much? And the reason I share that is because I've been asking people for years in a bunch of different ways. In a bunch of different ways. But some of us are motivated by the stick and some by the carrot. Some by what we want to move towards, some by what we want to move away. And I think it's really important to find and be okay with amplifying that pressure because some of you might set goals and go, that sounds good, but I don't know if that's attainable. Let me give it a shot. But if you really thought, hey, if I looked 5 years from now and nothing changed, wow, this would be really painful. And I just believe a commitment starts with having something so disturbing that you're disturbed into action. So maybe that's just me, and maybe that's not a good way to look at it. But I always look as what is going to push me to do this uncomfortable thing. Somebody might say, "Hey, technology's a little scary. Hey, being on camera is a little bit scary. Knowing that if I'm worthy to do this, all of those things are real. We all face that imposter syndrome or whatever it is we want to call it." But if we can find through the level of commitment saying, hey, if a year from now, me living in my full potential is the most exciting thing in the history of the world, if that carrot excites you, write that down to help fuel the commitments I know Bari will probably go a little deeper on. Or if you say, no, what's more painful for me is if I look back in 2 years, 3 years, and nothing's changed in my life. That's just unacceptable. That is freaking painful. Tanika, I see you sharing that, right? If that's painful, then write that down. If I don't do anything different in 2 years, I'll be at the same job, the same this, the same that, the same feelings, the same insecurities. Joanne, I see you saying that. I am not accepting that. And all of a sudden, you just got a little more leverage, right? You have an extra tool in your toolbox to stick to the commitment. Anyway, I'm going to be quiet. I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, I love that. And I know it resonates with the audience. I'm seeing, like Tony said, I'm disturbed enough to quit my corporate job. So this is for me. I took a big leap of faith. My finances are too heavy. Someone else said, no more Groundhog Days. And I'm so disturbed to have to stay in action. I mean, if I look back at my business career, I started my business because in the beginning, my big why was we have to pay our bills. Like, I just need to do something so we can pay our bills. It was survival. And then when I went through a divorce, it was, I know I meant to move to New York City. I just need to be able to pay my way to New York City. I need to be able to sustain myself in one of the most expensive cities in the country, in a place that I know I'm meant to be in to grow the way I want to grow. And then when I met my husband, Blue, at the time we were just starting to date and join our businesses together, and he moved to Manhattan from LA. And it was like, can we sustain both of us on this business? Like, that became our big why. Like, can we have a life, both of us, based on this business? And then we moved to Murrells Inlet because we felt, South Carolina, we felt like we had this calling, like we have to have a brick and mortar office. It was like, can we buy this house on the water, our dream house on the water? And can we afford to have an actual business? Everything had been virtual up until then. And all of a sudden you're going to have a rent you're going to pay, and you're going to have furniture, all these employees. It became a whole different thing. Can we do that? And then there was a moment in our business where we had a really toxic relationship with our biggest client, and they were our biggest referral source. It represented about $500,000 for us in revenue. And at the time, that was a really big deal for us. And it was so toxic on a day-to-day basis that we, both jointly decided we have to walk away, even if it means we start over in our business, even if it means that, we're selling tacos on the beach. It's worth it, because we have to live life on our terms. We didn't create a business to be bullied every day. Like, this isn't okay. And then COVID happened, and literally our in-person event business evaporated in an instant. And it was another one of those moments of like, okay, now our reason for being, our big why, is we believe in live events and high ticket offers and changing the world one live event, one high ticket offer, one attendee at a time. Can we pivot this business from in-person to virtual in an instant and save ourselves and save this company and save our employees and ultimately maybe even save an industry? These are all like fork in the road moments. That's how I look at them now. When I didn't see it that way then, but now I look back on it. They're fork in the road moments where you're being asked about your commitment. How deep is your commitment to yourself? How deep is your commitment to the people you're meant to serve? How deep is your commitment to your big why? I think we're being tested for a reason. I don't think it's supposed to be easy. I know we want it to be easy. Like, I know I'm looking at your chats and it feels so hard sometimes. And there's a lot of pain and trying to grow and step into a bigger version of yourself. And yet, we build muscle through resistance, right? Like, I'm in the process of going through, I'm like creating a gun show over here. Blue and I have been working out. This is new for us. I've never actually tried to have a muscle up here. I actually have the starting point of a muscle up here. And it's shocking to me and everyone else. And one of the things that my trainer told me is the only way you're going to get that is through resistance. You actually have to tear the muscle a little bit to build it. And then you have to add on additional weight to get where you're trying to go. And I'm like, it's not that different from growing a business. It's the same thing.
I'm sorry, I'm going to digress here for a second. I flew to Los Angeles on Friday just for the day because Tony was the executive producer on a movie called City of Dreams, and it's an awareness movie. It's about childhood slavery and from childhood slavery into slave labor, and it's an incredible movie. And it was premiering in Hollywood. And Tony asked me to go, and I don't go to events like that at all. But for Tony, I'd do anything. And he's like, "Come with me, go." So I went to the event, and the movie comes out August 30th. I recommend it to all of you. It is an incredible movie. It will touch your heart. I was on the edge of my seat the entire time, and it just makes you want to change. You want to help change in the world, right? And an amazing group of people made this movie. Again, August 30th, and there's a link on my Instagram, if that helps. I'm sharing that. When they got done, Tony did a panel and interviewed the writer and director, and you found out why he did it. He was from India and Pakistan, and when his father was young, his father got put into child slave labor. And his relationship with his dad wasn't amazing through his whole life. And he made this movie, and it was cathartic because he made this movie to understand why his dad was the man he was. And when he really saw what these kids went through, he understood completely. So not only did he make an amazing movie, he healed the relationship with his father. So maybe I'm digressing a little bit, but I'll tell you. So it went down, the actors shared why they were in it, and it got to one of the producers who put money behind it. And this is the part I want to share with you guys, because it's not public, and it was such a good story. He said, I don't watch the Olympics much, and he was a talker, I could tell. Him and Tony were going back and forth, and he's like, I don't watch the Olympics much. I was just telling my wife, the only ones I love more than anything are the divers. And everybody, I could see everybody in the audience, it was a packed house, like, well, why the divers? He goes, because they get to choose their level of difficulty. He said they could go and say, hey, he's going to jump off Sal. I see you shaking your head. You probably understand this more than I do. He goes, hey, they could jump off and say, this level of difficulty is a 3, right? And it's a dive and try to go. Or it's like, he's like, when I hear the announcer going, so-and-so chose this dive, it's got a level of difficulty of a 9.8 out of 10. He's like, I want to hire that person. I want to, because they chose the hardest thing to be judged on. You could have mastered a 6, but they're going after this 10. And I thought that was just so, like, isn't that the story of our lives? You guys could all choose the 3. Stick with what you have. You pay the bills. You have people in your life saying, isn't life good enough? Or the man will never let you be successful, or it's not the right time, or it takes money to make money. You got to be an introvert. You got to be good at this. Just chill. And you got that part of your brain that says, I'm going to pick life on a 2. But I don't think at the end of our lives, we want to be the person that walked out at the end of the diving board and chose the 2, the level of difficulty is a 2, and you jump in and do a cannonball. I see you laughing, Joanne, right? It's like, did a cannonball. Oh, so good. You see the way he held his legs or she held his legs? Like, I think at the end of the life, let's choose a 7, 8, 9, or 10. And let's get after it, because that's where success lives. That's where joy is. I mean, if you read anything, and you all have, is like, happiness is on the other side of the things that we must get through, the fears that we have, the struggles that we have. And I just think if you're in a group like this, you chose a little higher difficulty. But the cool part is you don't have to do it alone, right? We're part of a family. We're working on the best education that exists, the best guidance with Gigi that exists. We're working on the best coaches that exist, the best tool that exists, and we'll keep evolving. So if you got all the stuff, and you got the diving board, you got the pool, you got all the right stuff, now we just have to put the reps in. We have to keep jumping off that diving board until you perfect it, and that's where we're at in a lot of cases. Anyway, I love that story. I'll think about it forever. It's like, I'm going to watch the Olympics now when I see kind of a low level of difficulty. I'd be like, wimp, come on, step it up. But anyway.
Well, it's true. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. We do get to choose. And some of you are empire builders, and some of you are like, listen, I'm still in survival mode. If I can just pay my bills, I'm going to be happy. So what I found in my journey is that it started with survival. It was like, how can I pay my bills? And then it went to what I call thrival. I know that's not a real word, but I like it. So from survival to thrival, when you get to the point where you're actually really confident and comfortable that you're taking care of yourself. You've gotten to a place where you have the beach house of your dreams and the city house of your dreams, and you have time and money freedom. Then you have the luxury of making about other people. So in the beginning of my business, it was all about, can I pay my bills? And now my business is devoted to, can I help other people pay their bills, right? Like, can I give them the tools they need? And so it goes from being about you to being about your right fit clients. So I just wanted to say, when you're thinking about your big why, if you're at a place in your life right now, in your business, where your big why is selfish, meaning it's all about you, that's okay. That's the starting point, is like, take care of yourself. And then you will naturally graduate to the place where it becomes about other people, where it becomes more about the mission and the message. But the starting point, and I've been watching, again, people in the chat, and some people saying, I know I'm on the right path, but I'm not 100% clear. I'm working really hard and I'm still trying to see the results. It still comes down to, I think, one thing, which is that commitment word, right? So I want to talk about the nature of commitment today. That's what Dean and I chatted about, is just, what is the nature of commitment? Because it is what will get you through the hard times. It is what will keep you focused on the bigger vision of what you're trying to do. And it's what's going to allow you to succeed. You can't succeed without commitment, without continuing to deepen your commitment. And I think it generally comes down to 3 types of commitment. Like if I really had to narrow it down, I think it's commitment to yourself, commitment to your audience, to the people that you're meant to serve, and then commitment to growing. And I think it's actually in that order. I was thinking about that too. Like you commit to yourself first, then you commit to the people you're meant to serve, and then you commit to growing, like to truly expanding beyond where you started. So, you know, even a diver, they have to start with a 2 before they can do a 10. They don't walk out onto the diving board and be like, I'm going to do a 10 today, right? So you have to start somewhere. If you think about, let's start with commitment to yourself, is this idea that you're doing this for you and that it's what you're meant to do. And the same way that you wouldn't give up on a relationship or a friendship if it got hard. Like if my relationship with my husband was, I'm in this as long as it's easy. Like if this gets hard, I can't promise anything, but you know, if it's easy, I'm all in with you. We wouldn't have a great marriage. Like we're hyper committed to each other and to our relationship and to the life that we're creating together. And we go through the hardships together. You're in a relationship with your business in that same way, like you're co-creating with your business. And so the first time you hit a snag, you can't be like, oh, this is hard. I didn't realize it was going to be hard. I thought I was going to have an easy business. If it's an easy business, I'm all in. But if this is going to be hard, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should go back and get a job. I mean, that probably is not long for this world. So you're constantly in the process of business building, even if you don't know exactly what the road ahead is going to look like. So, you know, that commitment to yourself might start with like a macro level commitment. This year, I want to create a business where I have 10 people in a mastermind. This year, I know for me, like one of my first things was I want to make $100,000. Then it was, I want to make $1 million. Those ideas were not even grounded in like a deeper mathematical equation. I didn't do any math. I was just like, 100,000, that feels right. This year, I want to do 100,000. And then once I did that, I'm like, what's the next big goal? Well, it's $1 million. Okay, I want to do $1 million. You know, hopefully you have more grounded goals than that. But if that's what gets you there, if that's the starting point, you start with that, right? You start with having a vision of what you're trying to do. So think about that right now. If there was one overarching big why goal, like this is the big why, this is what's driving me, what would it be? Like take a second right now. What is your big why? Even if it's selfish, or if you're past that and you're into Thrival and you're like, I'm saving the world, what does your big why look like? I'm starting to see those roll in. And then what is your, I love this, great financial security. And the more specific you can be, the better. The more specific, like really, like what is driving you? What is that big why that is truly driving you? I love these. I'm just watching as they're rolling in. And the next thing I want you to think about is what is that first goal, that first commitment? This is what I'm committed to do this year. And by the way, I mean this year. I'm not talking like in the next 12 months. What are you going to do in 2024? What's our commitment for the rest of this year? Still got a lot of time to make this year your most amazing year yet. What would that be? I love it. I'm starting to see these come in. Yeah. So it starts with that. Now that you've stated that, that becomes the goal. Like you put it somewhere where you can see it. I think the first thing is writing it down. What you're doing right now is writing it down. I think the second thing is to speak it out loud. And here's my take on speaking it out loud. When we write it down, like I don't know about you, I'm prolific. I take tons of notes all the time. I've got notes on my notes. But when I speak it out loud, it has a different resonance. Then all of a sudden I'm using I call it my internal divining rod, IDR, my internal divining rod. Is this true for me? So if I write down, I'm going to make $1 million this year, and then I speak it out loud, I promise you the internal divining rod is either full body yes, or sounds good on paper. I don't know if that's like a realistic goal. So I think the write it down first, speak it out loud second is a really important way to muscle test yourself on whether you're all in. And I don't mean that you get a quiver like, oh, that's scary. That's considerably big. I surprised myself with that number. I remember when I thought $1 million is like $1 million. Can I do that? I mean, $1 million? but it was a full body yes. Like, Bari, yes, like you're meant for more. You are ready to do 1 million. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but you're ready to do this. Let's go. This is the commitment. We're going for 1 million. So I want you to speak it out loud.
Hold your
where you
spot
are
there.
right now.
Bari, hold your spot. I told you I'm going to try not to interrupt, but I want
No, I want you to interrupt.
This group, some of you are new. Some of you have been with me for almost a decade. And this is my most casual I like to be in my inner circles. There's so many times, Darren, I see you've been playing full out, man, with your headset on. Thank you. There's some times, we got 800,000 people registered for an event, and I feel like I don't want to mess up one piece. I want to serve these people. And I might not look like I have a little bit of angst in there, but I do. I don't want to screw it up for people. This is a group where I get to just be me, and I tell probably way too many personal stories. But I have to say something. My daughter called me out on something, and it has a direct alignment with what you're saying about write it down and then speak it out loud. So my daughter, my oldest daughter, I have 4 kids, two girls, 2 boys, olders and youngers. The olders are going to be 18 and going to be 16, both taller than me now, which doesn't take much. But my daughter, who is going to be 18 and was born on my birthday. You can figure daddy's little girl, right? Since she was little, I always talked and complimented her on things she hasn't done yet. So it was an intuition. So I said, hey, I know going into 9th grade, I'm going to be really honest, guys. Please, if this offends, I'm just going to share. I'd say, hey, I know that a lot of your friends are starting to dress a little bit different than you, a little more promiscuous than you, but I love the fact that you choose to be you. I love the fact my daughter went to a Christian school, so she wears a cross, and a lot of her friends lost it, and she kept wearing it, right? Whatever her beliefs are, and I don't push my beliefs on her. She has her own. I said, I love the fact that you're brave to dress the way you want. I love the fact that you're okay with delayed gratification, that I know your friends are dating like crazy, but I said, I promise you, I love the fact that you're doing this now because I can't wait till you be in 11th grade and every boy is going to be chasing you. And I used to say this to her all the time. And I'd say, I love the fact that you have a more developed frontal lobe. I was making crap up. I'm like, you have a way more developed frontal lobe than any teenager I've ever seen. You realize that when you go to a party, getting drunk and doing something too young and too life before you can make smart decisions can end up in some pretty bad things, especially today with social media. And I just kept telling her the things before she ever went to a party, Bari. She's in 12th grade. My daughter is, listen, she still doesn't make her bed. She still gets a C in math. There are some things I wish she hustled a little harder, but my daughter doesn't drink. She is the designated driver. Some of her friends do. My daughter has the sweetest boyfriend. You got to meet him. He's the sweetest boy I've ever met in my life. And last week she came to me and she goes, so this was a plan. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She found a psychologist online saying the best thing to do for your children is speak the life into them you want them to become and keep praising them for the things they haven't even done yet. I'm like, I swear to you, Bri, it wasn't a strategy, right? But she laughed. She was laughing so hard. And she goes, by the way, Dad, it worked. I never wanted to let you down because I thought you saw that in me. I might as well be that person. And I think it's the same thing here. Some of you to say this year, I want to make $50,000 by the end of the year, $20,000 extra by the end of the year. It might feel a little weird, but the more you say it out loud, the more you speak it and say, I'm going to do 20,000 this year, but I'm going to do 200,000, whatever the number is. Jeannie just wrote 200,000. I'm going to do 200. The more you speak it, your body, I believe, reverse engineers the number. And before you lay out the plan, you start thinking, I'm a $200,000 a year earner. I'm going to start doing the things it takes and committing to the things, the uncomfortable action it takes to be a $200,000 a year earner. Because at that number, I quit the job. And then once I quit the job and hire 2 people, I can get to 500,000 like that, or whatever the goal is, right? Some of you want to build an empire. Some of you want to be at 10 grand a month for the rest of your life just so you're in control while you're impacting others. We all have our own journey, but we all need to commit to it and find the things that allow us to stick to our own commitments. Anyway, thanks for letting me share. I wouldn't have shared that daughter story in any other group.
No, I think one of the things that's amazing about you that I so admire is your commitment to yourself to be a really great dad. And you are a really great dad. And the kids are proof of that. They're amazing. I've gotten to meet them and they're incredible kids. And, I think for some of you, you're thinking, I wish I had a Dean in my life. And you do. I mean, that's why you're here, right? So I think the first thing is, you can speak it to yourself, setting these goals and these commitments and speaking them out loud, writing them down, speaking it out loud. And to Dean's point, continuing to make it real to yourself by claiming it for yourself over and over again. The more you say it, the more real it becomes. The next would be being in a community. Like your commitment to yourself is to be in a community like this one, so that you have a Dean in your life speaking it into you, so that I watch how supportive you are of each other. It's amazing. And having, being an entrepreneur can be a super lonely journey. And so I think it's super important as part of this first commitment to yourself to not try and do it alone, to be in a community of people who are like-minded, where you can share triumphs and they're going to champion you, where you can share pitfalls and they're going to say, you got this, I've been there, I'm with you. This is a short-term thing for a long-term vision. Don't give up. This is how we collapse a decade into days, is surrounding ourselves with the right people. And if I had to guess, this is that community for you. If it is, drop it in the chat. Like this, these are my people. You can just put, these are my people. This is my place. These are my people, right? Like this is where you come for that, because we can have the most amazing family and have them not be our like-minded people, right? It happens sometimes. Yeah, these are my people. This is my family. I love that. Love you guys. This is my place. Yeah, it's so good. You need that. You've got to have that. I've got to tell you, anyone who's super successful in our space will tell you they never don't have a mentor. They never have a community. You've got to have it. So good. I love that you're claiming that. Love conquers all. Great. Yes. So then the next piece for your commitment to you, this is your commitment to yourself. So talk about, write it down, speak it out loud, be in a community, track your progress. And I want you to write this down for yourself. You don't have to put this in the chat. This is for you. What you measure, you improve. If you don't measure it, you can't improve it. I'm no longer an orphan. I just saw that. That touched my heart. What you measure, you improve. I know for me, like I said, I'm a goal setter, 100,000, a million, 10 new clients, my first $100,000 client, my first, et cetera, whatever it is for you. Your goals trickle down from your big why. So I like to think of it as I have my life goals, I have my business goals, and I have my event goals. For me, I'm an event business. So I have my event goals, like how many people I want to have at my event, how many people I want to help in that year. So that allows me to measure. So that's the next piece, is breaking down your goals into measurable steps that you can track. And I'm a big fan of writing it down, right? I call it the 30-30 concept. I look back at the last 30 days, what I do. I look ahead at the next 30 days, what do I want to do? That makes that a simple, measurable goal. So if I start with 100,000, I can't every day wake up and just be like, I'm going to make 100,000. At some point, I have to break it down into smaller goals that allow me to get to the bigger goal, that allow me to get to my big why. So if you're a journaler, Jean and I are both journalers. We both love, like I said, prolific note takers. You can write down a few sentences every day about what you're working on in your business, what you did, how you handled it, how it turned out, what you're going to do differently. You can create a spreadsheet for your goals so that every day you're being accountable to what you're doing. Do this in a way that works for you, but looking back at what you did or didn't do and looking ahead at what you're going to do. And sometimes it's a recalibration. I thought I would make this much this month. I didn't. I could beat myself up about it or go, oh, why didn't I? Okay, now that I know that, I know what I need to change for the next 30 days so this doesn't become
and one thing I want to jump in, what a great point, is if you set a goal for the month and it doesn't happen and you don't hit it, break it down, because you don't want to go, this isn't working for me. That's too broad of a statement. When you break it down, you might go, you know what, I'm just still a little insecure about filming my first video. Okay, great. Spend the next 30 days working on that. Spend the next 30 days, I'm just a little insecure. I tell the story all the time. I did a hot seat with an amazing woman. She had it all dialed in. She had an amazing product. I had no idea why she wasn't crushing. She says, I'm just afraid to go live. I'm just afraid to go live. She goes, I just need to get better on camera. And we started talking about it. And when I broke it down, she said, actually, my husband makes fun of me every time I go live, and I'm embarrassed because of him. So it had nothing to do with anything else. She had her product, she had her confidence, she had all those pieces, and we broke it down. We spent a half hour talking about how to approach her husband, and I probably got it from you, Bari, not to ask permission, but to ask for his support. When she actually told him, He ended up crying, and he felt, I never talked to her again, but the team let me know. He ended up crying. He felt so bad. And then he supported her, and he was the one, I could cry thinking about it. He was directing her videos going, you're doing so good. And she went on and do great stuff. So what I'd say is if you have a 30-day goal and you go, I was going to make $5,000 this month. I didn't. This must not work for me. Break it down into where was the sticking point? What did you learn? What did you try? What did you hesitate on? And then attack that piece. And that's just how business is. It's measuring what really is the sticking point. If you go, too macro, you're like, I tried it for a month, it didn't work. It's like, no. You didn't do the final piece of going live because you're concerned about your husband's thoughts. Go work on that for the next couple of days and get his support.
Yeah. And I think the key is to not judge yourself, to use it as a status report. When I look back at the last 30 days, my goal isn't to judge myself for what I didn't do. It's to ask myself, why didn't I do it? And then to figure out what I need to tweak. Was it the wrong goal, or was it the wrong way of tackling that goal? Or do I just need a little bit of grace that month? Like I had an unexpected hurdle I had to overcome. And so I need to recalibrate the goal. But I'm still staying in goal setting, and I'm still staying in measuring progress. And that gets into the next commitment piece. You have to do that because your second commitment, if your first one is to yourself, your second one is to your audience, what I think of as your right fit client, the person that you are truly meant to serve. And, I look at this as if you don't share what you know, then the people who need you may never get the advice that you were meant to give. Meaning this isn't just an opportunity in your business, it's a responsibility in your business. You were given a gift. You were given a zone of genius. You were given a calling, and it's up to you to follow it. Yeah. So if I think of like some examples for myself, like, a commitment to my audience, sometimes it's doing something that's scary. I remember the first time that I spoke on a stage, I was shaking so much that I could feel it. I was using a handheld mic and it was like shaking. I'm like, can anybody see this, or can I just feel it? Like, is this obvious? So to go from being like, I remember still, like, funny story, like these palazzo pants. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like a really wide leg pant. That's what I was wearing that day. And my leg was shaking so much. And I was like, can they see, or my pants feel like they're moving? Can anybody see this, or can I just feel it? To go from that to being on a stage last week that had, 450,000 people on it. You would never get to the stage with 450,000 if you didn't start on the stage where you were nervous and not perfect. Going live on social. My husband did me a favor on this one. And I was so mad at him. Blue and I never argue, never fight, but I was ready to kill him when he went live in our group and announced that I would go live for 31 days. And the reason he did this is I was refusing to be on camera. I'm like, I'm terrible on camera. I can't do this. I'm not good on camera. And he's like, we've got to get over this or you're not going to succeed in business. Like, in this world, you have to be on camera. So he just said, Bari's going to be live for 31 days. We're calling it December Advent Calendar. For 31 days in December, Bari's going live. I was like, are you kidding me, Blue? I cannot do this. Like, I was so mad at him. And the first day I took 4 hours to prep. I called my good friend Stu McLaren, said, how do I do this? He gave me like a model to follow. I mapped out my notes. I memorized, I practiced. I memorized, I practiced. I had notes taped to the bottom of the camera so I wouldn't forget what to say. I did like 5. It was awful. It took so long. The next day was a little bit better. The next day was a little bit better. And about day 16, I was shooting live in an airport. On about day 20, we were doing something live from the car. On day 30, I'm like, what are we talking about today? Where are we going live from? But the point is, you wouldn't get to that if you didn't start by being bad. So often we're like, I'm not good at it. And the reason is it's a muscle that we're building, right? Repetition and taking on bigger, harder things is how and resistance is how we build that muscle. So think about, what is the thing that you're afraid to do, but you need to do because you're so committed to your audience? What is that thing that you really need to do so that you can show up differently for your audience, even if it seems considerably scary right now? I want you to think about, for me right now, hosting events seems scary. I used to do it for other people. Doing it for myself seems considerably scary. Now I'm writing a book. That's my next big up level. It seems a little scary to put myself out there in that way, but I know I'm meant to do it because I'm committed to my audience. What is that thing you need to do? And then I want you to think about, do it messy, do it scared, do it imperfect, do it anyway. Write that down. I'm going to do it messy. I'm going to do it scared. I'm going to do it imperfect. I'm going to do it anyway. And then when you are having a moment where you don't feel like you're enough, I want you to have a file of success stories. For me, I keep all my thank you cards from clients and people that I've touched. I keep chats from people that have talked about how I help them or how I help them see things differently. I call them client love notes, notes that my clients sent me over the years, thanking me for something that I did or acknowledging something I contributed. You have to bookmark your success stories. Dean, what do you do? Do you track any of your love notes? I mean, you're so successful. What do you do?
No, yeah. You know, I never let them make me numb to each note, each story, each message is a life that's touched. And it's compounding. The greatest wish I could have for all of you, yes, I hope all of you make the level of money, income, and impact that you desire. That would be the greatest gift you could give back, is to take the uncomfortable action and live into the life you were meant to live. But what I can't wait for you to see is the addicting nature of this industry. Meaning, when you get those stories, it's not just, oh, thank you. When you see someone who said, I was a struggling mom with 3 kids and I was down to my last hope, and now I have a thriving business. Like, each one of those compounds, no matter what your share is going to be, no matter what you're going to teach, you are going to help somebody shorten the curve, somebody who's been dying to play piano their whole life. And David, one of our top students, helps them play piano quicker. It's just as good as getting through a divorce or going vegan or learning how to sell or being good at human resources. You're condensing time. And when you realize we get to be in an industry, in a business, that we're actually serving people for a living. I know so many of you are here because of that. Some of you are here because you want to make more money. I get that, but I promise no matter where you're starting, you'll end up, especially if you keep track of them and you read them and you remind. It's why I'm in the Facebook group every Monday, because every Monday, some Mondays are hard. So for all of us, I just want to tell you, like, I got 2 kids at home. I slept about an hour last night. I got my 2 littles with fevers and they were up all night, and my wife got sick, so I said, let them sleep with me. I slept about an hour last night and then came into the office with 6,000 things going on. But I have to tell you, I love every bit of it, because today I get to spend time with you, and maybe one out of the several thousand, there's about 4,200 people on right now, maybe one person here, and I hope it's many more, has something that was a breakthrough, was a shift. Who had a little bit of a breakthrough so far today? Or who's a little more motivated today? Or who's ready to go a little deeper today? I get to do this. Barry and I, we're working right now. Like, we're working. This is our jobs. And I can't wait for you guys each to feel that money's going in your bank account while simultaneously people are saying, thank you. And it's the greatest gift. Who would have ever thought in my life in high school when I had dyslexia and we didn't have much money, and I was like, what the heck am I going to do with my life? To think I'd end up here, and now we get to spark you guys to do the same. It's the wish I hope each of you are granted.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. And so I think so often as entrepreneurs, we're always looking ahead because we're setting goals. That's our job. Like we talked about today, goal setting, but we always have to remember to look back to where we were, where we started. Dean and I met each other originally, I think, in Strategic Coach with Dan Sullivan, one of my early mentors. And he had this concept called the gap. And it was like, you can't just always be looking ahead. You have to look back at where you were. 1, to stay connected to where you came from, to Dean's point, but 2, because you have to look at how far you've come. Like for each of you, I bet if you looked at where you started when you came into our world, you're significantly ahead. Even if you're not exactly at your goal, you're farther along than you were. So it keeps you humble. It keeps you connected to who you're meant to serve. And it keeps you remembering like how far you've come, which is the key to the next step. So commitment to yourself, commitment to your audience. And remember that third commitment is commitment to growth. And, we can't be successful entrepreneurs and not be committed, if not addicted, to growing and to expanding, to taking uncomfortable action, to building stamina, to taking on the resistance that builds muscle. As I said, we want it to be an easy road, but those little bumps along the way are what build character. They what build resilience and determination. And I often look at it, I have a saying, new level, new devil. And so anytime I'm up leveling, it's like there's a new devil. There's something new I need to tackle. And if you're in a space in your life where you're like, everything feels a little easy right now, Having no problem charging my clients. They're all saying yes. I'm growing my list. I'm increasing the number of people I serve. I'm getting paid what I wanted to. I'm like, okay, good for you. It's time to up level to the next version, jump to the next lily pad. Like you're meant to create a new place to grow. And so when I look at it as growth is a requirement, new level, new devil is a requirement, then I can flip the script and say, oh, I should be embracing the hard parts, not resisting them, not running away from them. Like growth is actually part of the equation. Growth is actually part of the journey. And growth can be a little bit hard, but growth is where my best moments come for me personally to grow, for me to grow my audience, for me to grow my mission, for me to grow my message, my impact. So I look at it as the way we grow our impact, the way we grow our income is by growing into the next version of ourselves. So for me, I'll give you an example. I had to make a decision, fork in the road decision. When we were coming out of COVID, are we going to walk away from doing in-person events, which have been our bread and butter for 17 years until COVID hit? And then we made that quick pivot when we no longer could do in-person events, created a virtual space, found we loved the virtual space. As we started to emerge from COVID, we had clients come to us and say, all right, let's strike up the band, in-person events again. And we were like, we actually don't want to go back on the road 45 weeks out of the year. We're liking having time together, time at home, having people come to us, being able to have a life where we can have a puppy, which is something that we wanted forever. So we had to make a decision, like for our next level of growth, what got us out of Egypt wasn't going to get us to the promised land. We couldn't go back to who we were. We had to let go of that to grow into the next version of ourselves, to create the space for the space that we wanted to be in, for me to write my book, for us to have more time for each other, for us to have more time to grow, for us to find the next space to grow, like a mastermind I just joined, because I'm always looking for people who are playing a bigger game than I am. So I recently joined really powerful mastermind with some people that I know are going to stretch and expand me because they're bigger thinkers than I am. So what is the thing that you need to do to grow right now? Like just take a second, think about it. What is the uncomfortable action that you need to take to grow into the next version of you? The thing that you might be like, I want it, but it seems scary. I want it, but I'm not sure. I want it, but maybe I'm not ready. What is that thing that you need to do? And you're right to take a second to think about it, to use that internal divining rod to figure out what it is. Yeah, I've got some great things in here. Social media, creating my video course, adding some discipline, stepping out in my community, finalize my funnels, get all the pieces done in the hub. I love it. I love that you're surrounded by this community. You've got to have that to grow. Get back into the 7-step jump start. I love that. You've skipped a step. You're going to go back and do that to make sure that you've got firm foundations. Speaking at events, stop being a professional volunteer. Yes, Teresa, I love that. Time for you to be paid for your awesomeness. Website and funnels, getting into proximity, grow in the hub, creating a schedule and then staying committed to it. Absolutely. Finishing my course and getting it out there. Absolutely. So I want you to claim the thing that you know you need to do. That's going to be your next 30 days, the thing that you've just committed to do. We've committed to a goal. Now we're committing to a next 30-day plan. Something is going to require us to grow, do it messy, do it scared, do it perfect, do it anyway. And we're going to reframe that the hard parts are actually the awesome parts. The hard parts, we're going to embrace the hard parts because we know we need them to build the muscle that we need to go to the next place that we're going. We can't do it from staying static. We can't do it. We're not going to grow a muscle, not picking up a weight. It doesn't work that way. So we're going to add on the weights and we're going to do the repetitions. It's a mix of resistance and repetition to grow the muscle to be the next version of ourselves. So Dean, when you're facing something considerably hard, what do you do? When you're trying to grow into your next big thing, what do you do?
For me, I look backwards because I've been scared at every level of growth. And to use the word scared, maybe I'm not supposed to use that, but I am. There's always a time when you stretch that next level, you go, if this doesn't work, could I lose all that I've built up until now? Should this be enough, right? And everybody's got their own thing, but for me, as a human, I think I live by the philosophy: if I'm not climbing, I'm sliding. If I'm not growing, I'm dying. I want to be a better version of me. I want to look at a video I did now in 5 years from now and be almost embarrassed because I got better 5 years from now. So for me, when I'm nervous, I usually think back to when I was scared and I did it anyway. And on the other side of that was a better version of me. You have all been through it. You have all faced some of the toughest challenges on the planet. And when you finally face them, even though it might not have been easy going through it, on the other side, in most cases, we're a better version of ourselves, or we learned something. So for me, I kind of look back and think, if I got through that, heck, I can get through this. And I kind of borrow confidence or borrow courage from a previous experience. And if that doesn't work, I think about my why and my children. I'll do whatever it takes to manipulate this brain to go, I'm scared, but I'm doing it anyway. And Nina, I see you shaking your head. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll go in the toolbox of if you don't do it at the end of your life, you're going to regret it. Or you did it before and you had the courage then. Or who the hell would you be if you went to the end of your life and you were afraid of something? Or if he did it, I can do it. If she did it, I can do it. I probably would love to say there's a specific one, but I use whatever it takes to go, I'm scared, but I'm doing it anyway. Because I've never got to the other side of that and said to myself, oh, I'm not glad I did that. I'm always glad that I faced something. And sometimes on the other side, you learn what not to do. And that's just as powerful.
Just as powerful. Absolutely. The failures maybe are even more important than the successes. Yeah. I mean, I often think the cost of inaction, the cost of regret is way worse than anything hard I've ever had to do.
Way heavier.
Yeah, I just know my father died young. So I think a lot about, I don't want to have my life be, I wish I had, or I'm waiting for the day when. It's like, today is the day. Like, I wrote this down. We said this at the beginning of the call. Today is the day. Like, that's something to remember. Today is the day that you get to decide. You get to choose. The decisions you make today literally determine who you're going to be 6 minutes from now, 6 weeks from now, 6 months from now, 6 years from now. You get to choose, though. So you make today the day that you choose the big why, you choose the goal, and you choose the action that you're going to take in the next 30 days to commit to yourself. Like, this is who I'm going to be. This is who I am. This is how I'm showing up. This is who I need to be for my audience, my commitment to my audience and the people I meant to serve, and then my commitment to growth, because change is optional, but change is not optional, but growth is, right? Like, you're going to be changing no matter what, but growth is optional. You get to choose whether you use that change to grow. I love Dean's comment, like, you're either, stepping up or sliding back. Like, which one are you doing in this moment? You get to choose that. So it's powerful that we're in a space and in a community where that choice is ours. I know, it can seem heavy, but think of the opposite: to not have choice, to be in a world where you don't get to choose, where whatever's handed to you is just, that's the lottery, that's what you got, versus being able to say, okay, I can use that for good. I can actually take that hardship and turn it into my next opportunity. In fact, I have a responsibility to do that. Today's the day.
So good. So good. Everybody, can we give some love in the chat for Bari Baumgardner?
Love you guys. Thank you.
The last thing I'll say, and then for those of you that are in the Mastermind Business Academy, we're going to take a quick little 5-minute break, and then we're going to do some hot seats. All of you in our Mastermind family and inner circle, thank you for being with us. I love these every single month. This was fun. I took 4 pages of notes. These are all reminders. Remember, the little things are the big things. Stay plugged in. This is the consistency that gets you. Who's a little more revved up today? Who's excited to go take some action? Who's going to schedule some stuff for yourself, for your community, right? For your growth. And that's what this is. This is why I say we try to give you all the ingredients just to keep you moving forward, because we know if you persist, you will succeed. And if you quit, you won't. The last thing I'll say is when Lisa Nichols spoke at the World Summit, God, it was so good. So good. But she said something, for those who saw it, great. For those that didn't, great. She just said something about generations and what generations before us have done to give us this opportunity. For me, whatever you could put in your toolbox, I want to tell you that day, I've not shared this, but I know my grandfather left Italy during a time that was very difficult in Europe, in the late 1800s, early 1900s. He had a donkey that his family gave him. That's all they could give him. He used the donkey to ride down to the port He sold the donkey, still didn't have enough money for a ticket to America, so he made a deal with the captain to shovel coal in the, imagine a coal ship going across the Atlantic, in late 1800s, early 1900s. Long story short, my grandfather left this tiny little town with a donkey, never saw his family again, came to America without a dime, couldn't speak English, was treated horrific at that time. All the new wave of immigrants a lot of times are treated with the same disdain. He told my father stories of he'd go to get a job and say, Italians and Irish need not apply. He said, all these things he shared, but he started with nothing. But he did that. So I'm his grandson. It's not 10 generations later. His grandson is able to be on with you amazing people today, to live into a life that I only once dreamed about, to impact lives for a living, to give my children choices. And that weekend just hit me as like, I owe it to my grandfather, who I never met. He died when I was 4 years old. My grandfather, who I never met, I owe it to him to be the best version of me. He took this American dream, whatever you believe in the American dream, he took that chance. And by the time he died, he had done well enough to raise the kids. But by the time it got to me, so whatever it takes for you, you don't want to get to the end of your life and have regret, or your grandparents or great-grandparents went through hell to give you an opportunity to be here right now. I'll take whatever it is to not allow me to stop when my dyslexia would bug me, or I don't feel smart enough, or I didn't go to college, or I didn't feel I had the money. Man, resourcefulness just simply comes from a strong enough reason why the hell we're doing it in the first place. And I'll stack as much on as possible. We're always here to support you. I love these monthly lives where I get to see your faces, see your comments. Stay engaged. Get back into the program. Get back into the course. Get back with your coach. Get back into using Gigi. Whatever it takes, make small steps. Watch this training again if you need to. Can't wait to be with you next month. I'll see you each Monday. We got new courses coming out. Stay engaged in Mastermind. For those of you that are in MBA, we're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll do some hot seats, and we'll see you all soon. Thanks, Barry.
Thank you.
Helium. Me up like lemonade, we both know it's bittersweet. This sorrowness will bite your tongue. No one is forever young. No, listen the rhythm. I'm feeling brand new. Keep pushing forward. It's gonna save you. Never look down, love. Not when we shine so bright. The sun is getting warmer, but when we soar away among the clouds, the sky is just a border, but when we're floating up like helium.
Just another sunny day in Southern